Hi, everybody. I'm Jay Gruenke, founder of the Balanced Runner System, and this is where I always want to adjust my chair as I'm saying my intro. Welcome to Behind the Scenes. I've been helping runners from beginner to Olympian improve their form and performance since 2003. And today is Stuck at Home Form tip number 8, how not to engage your core. So I want to help you use this opportunity that we all have with a time at home to become a better runner. And today's tip is a really important one. So let's talk about your core, because you probably, odds are, think about your core. You probably work on your core. You probably, don't feel guilty if this is not you, but the majority of people watching probably do some kind of core stability exercise and, feel that that's essential to your healthy running form. But there's a problem with that. So core stability, is considered to be essential to healthy running form, but the term is unclear. It means actually different things to different people. It is often interpreted to mean something incorrect, which is that you should hold your core still. And it completely misses the point of what the core is supposed to be doing to facilitate running, to facilitate good leverage on the ground, energy transfer between the ground and your body, and healthy use of your skeleton and your connective tissue. So today, let's look at all the things you might be doing or your running buddies might be doing that are wrong. And you can just cross them off your to-do list and have less to worry about when you run. You wouldn't believe the number of emails that I have gotten over the years from people who have read my blog posts and my materials on what to do with your core when you run, who are just writing to say, I read your blog post and I tried it on my run and my knee pain went away and I was faster and I felt so much smoother and so much better. Thank you. So correct information, there's a limit to how far correct information can take you, but it can take you pretty far sometimes. Sometimes you need more than just information, you need a learning experience. But I'm committed to putting correct information out there for free to everybody, because when you're working with the right set of ideas about how your body works when you run, you do so much better, you feel so much better. And I think that we could be seeing a lower injury rate in runners than we currently do. So let's cross some things off your list of worries when you run. And I'll show you what not to do. So try to wear something that will make it clear. So some people get concerned about an anterior pelvic tilt when they run, or their physical therapist or Pilates teacher has told them that. And let me just take this opportunity to say I have huge respect for physical therapists and for Pilates teachers. They're some of the best people I know. Really, with all their heart, committed to helping their clients, committed to their own continuing education, and working with the materials that they were trained in, but very open to new ideas. So I hope that my colleagues in the physical therapies and Pilates fields will find this video useful to you in helping runners. So an anterior pelvic tilt. So anterior meaning forward. So an anterior pelvic tilt is when your pelvis is tilted like this. And in standing, it's not a great thing because your back is arched and frankly, it's super uncomfortable. In walking, it's not a great thing for the same reason. But the funny thing is, because, as I explained in the forward lean video, for running, you lean forward. So an anterior pelvic tilt relative to the ground, that is, we imagine a line coming straight up from the ground, and if the pelvis is tilted forward relative to that line, we call that an anterior pelvic tilt. Well, what does that do? It moves your body forward, and actually, if you also move your head forward, then you're on a forward angle, and then you're in your lean for running. So your pelvis has to tilt forward when you run. So do not do something with your abs here to try and keep your pelvis from tilting forward, because it's going to wreck your lean. Hollowing your abdominals. That means just sucking that belly button in. Something that being in tights on YouTube makes me just want to naturally do. But it's bad for running. It's actually, there's a lot of evidence that it's not good for you in any case, because it interferes with the integrity of your lumbar curve. So you should have a curve here, the right, amount, not too much. But it's also harmful when it's flattened, because your spine, the curves of your spine are a spring. And you need that springiness, and especially in the impact situation of running, you need that springiness. And, with my one-to-one clients, I give them, when I see that it's necessary, when I see that somebody has done a lot of core work on holding and hollowing and thinking long and long in the string through the top of the head, which a lot of people do, then all of the springiness in the spine gets taken out. You stiffen it, kind of like a rod, a slightly curved rod, but a rod, and makes running so much harder, because your your body's ability to act like a spring is spoiled. So I'm not saying that you should be going doing to create your spring, but there needs to be a little bit of movement. It won't even be perceptible to the eye, but it's so important, and it makes a huge difference in how your running feels. So hollowing your abdomen, pulling that belly button straight in, tends to lengthen the lumbar spine a bit, just reducing the contact of the vertebrae with each other and interfering with their ability to move that little bit. So tempted to digress into what should happen instead, but that's tomorrow. So we're saving that for tomorrow. Don't hollow, okay? Brace. So this is where hollowing is where you pull the belly button in, and it uses your transverse abdominal muscles, the ones with the fibers that go like this, and maybe to some extent obliques, but mostly it's transverse, so it makes your waist narrower. Bracing is where you do the same thing that you do when you do a plank, or if somebody pushes against you, you're actually contracting the whole abdominal wall. And there are people who recommend that instead, because it doesn't have this lengthening effect on your lower back beyond what's natural and what's healthy. And so it's better for the integrity of the lower back, in fact. And it does kind of stabilize and lock everything in. But the problem is that it locks everything in, and you have to have movement here when you run. Again, more about that tomorrow. But you don't want to be locking this. And then third thing is just trying to immobilize your pelvis, where you're really strictly interpreting core stability as meaning core held still. And so you try not to let your pelvis tip at all. You try not to let it turn at all. You just try and keep it still and just use the legs as if you were on a bicycle. Now that basically works on a bicycle because there's a seat. So your weight is supported on the seat, and then the legs can just go. In fact, there are tiny movements through your whole body, even in cycling. And the more you let that happen, actually, the more power you'll have, even for cycling. But in running, there is no seat, so your legs are your support. And so if you really hold this still, the only way I can really hold this still and not move any of it and pick one leg up is if I actually support myself over there. And let's see if the bookshelves can take it over here. But if I don't do that support, let's see, I wake Leroy up. And we do not want to do that. So you see my point. And again, I'm going to elaborate on this tomorrow. So cross those 4 things off your list. Do not try and do them when you run. And if you feel that your lower back is too arched when you run, the problem is not that you've tilted your pelvis forward, but that you're pulling your head back. Move your head forward and lean instead. Okay? So if you want to start working on better core action, that's a little hint, when you run, I'm going to put a resource down in the description below, and you can get started on that today. And otherwise, I'll see you here tomorrow when I will tell you what you should do with your core. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not. Please hit like, because then YouTube knows this is a good video and shares it with other runners who need this information as well. And please check out all the great resources that I have for you on balancedrunner.com. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.